So let's talk about these different service models. Typically, you'll hear about three primary service models for cloud. There's SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS. So you'll typically see these three, and there's a bunch of others that people sometimes will talk about. But we're going to talk mostly about the three primary ones, and I'll mention some of the other possibilities for service models. But SaaS, the first option, is basically everything is done for you. That's basically what SaaS is. So, you can read that paragraph there, but basically SaaS is when everything is done for you. All the applications, all the management of that application, it's all done in the cloud for you. So for example, when you use Gmail, you're using software as a service. When you're using Facebook, you're using software as a service. You don't have to do anything other than use the software. You're not worried about the operating system that software is installed on. Most people don't even know that, what operating system Linux is hosted on. They don't know what type of web servers they use. We don't care about any of that. All we know is we go to their service and we use it, and that's it. So that's software as a service. So everything is provided for you. You don't manage anything. You just pay for access for the whole thing. Where we see this in business is we might have, for example, enterprise resource planning like SAP. You can use SAP in the cloud where everything is already built for you. The entire platform is already provided for you. All you have to do is the business level. You have to just use that application. If you use something like Google Docs or Microsoft's Office 360, which is in the cloud, maybe it's Office 365, I forget, but basically it's all of the Office applications running in the cloud. You don't even have to have a Windows computer to use it. You can use it from your phone if you want to, on an Android phone or an iPhone. So it's all running in the cloud, and everything, again, is provided for you. That is software as a service. Infrastructure as a service is a little bit different, but basically it's where the infrastructure is provided for you. So they may not give you an application, but they give you the infrastructure that you would need in order to install and run that application. So for example, they're going to give you the servers, they're going to give you database, storage, networking, all of the underlying resources that we need to run something like an email server, and then we have to configure and install the application on top of that. But all of the underlying infrastructure, all that IT infrastructure is provided for us with infrastructure as a service. And sort of the lowest level for cloud delivery is platform as a service. This is where basically the cloud provider is giving you access to create a virtual machine. So they give you the processing time, the memory, and the storage, but you have to build your own operating system. You have to build those networks. You have to provide all of that infrastructure. You have to build on their platform. And then you could build software on top of that infrastructure. So one of the things you could take away from this is so platform as a service is the sort of lowest common denominator. On top of a platform as a service, you could build infrastructure as a service. And if you have infrastructure as a service, you can run software within that infrastructure. So to run software, you have to have the infrastructure. To have the infrastructure, you have to have the platform. And when you make a decision as far as cloud computing goes, you basically have to decide, what level of virtualization in cloud do you want? Do you want everything provided for you, which would be software as a service? Or do you want to just get a platform given to you from which you can build your own infrastructure and software? The answer to that question depends on your goals and depends on what type of applications you're building, what type of organization you are, and those are some of the decisions that you as an IT person have to make. But basically, that's what we're talking about as far as these different service models. There are other service models that are available. I think one of the readings that I gave you in Blackboard talks about some of these. There's CAAS, which is communications as a service. You have XAAS, which is anything as a service. Desktop as a service. Business process as a service, which would be things like SAP and so forth. So lots of other different options that you could have as far as cloud service models.